Hey everyone, Kevin here once again with my 1, 2, 3 cents, and it's been a while since I posted a somewhat serious video, and I'm going to talk about the Macho Man Randy Savage today. And it has been 1 week since he unfortunately passed away in what appears to be a car accident. They're still waiting for toxicology reports and other tests to come back to determine the exact cause of death, whether he had a medical episode before the accident or not. But I wanted to talk about the Macho Man today. Growing up, he was one of my favorites as he rose to the top of the WWE, WWF back then. He was one of those guys when he first came in. I didn't know a whole lot about him. I had read about him a little bit in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated and The Wrestler, those types of magazines. So my knowledge of the Macho Man was very limited when he first arrived. But he quickly became one of those guys that you couldn't not enjoy watching in the ring, even if you didn't like his actions in the ring, playing the heel role, of course, then you certainly could enjoy his ability to put on a good show. Very charismatic, definitely a one-of-a-kind individual. And I've got just some of the artifacts of my childhood. The Macho Man Randy Savage LJ in action figure, of course, with the lovely Elizabeth as well. And, these two saw some epic battles in my LJN ring with many of the opponents that I put the Macho Man up against, and of course Elizabeth always by his side and in his corner. I also have one of my magazines, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, of course, that highlighted the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or Randy Savage feud. This was not the actual match at Mania, but this was kind of talking about the feud where Savage crushed Steamboat's larynx with the ring bell. And then, of course, WrestleMania 4, Savage's really big moment. I think WrestleMania 3, of course, was he and Steamboat stole the show. That was a definite WrestleMania moment for him that night. But WrestleMania 4, I think, is where it all kind of culminated and came together, and winning the WWF title. And I have my program from that night. I wasn't at WrestleMania 4, but I was at the Kiel Center in St. Louis watching it on closed circuit television, and you can see I filled in the brackets, and of course Macho Man won that. And I still actually, too, believe it or not, have my ticket from that night on March 27th, 1988. It's hard to believe it was that long ago, but that's really when Macho Man's momentum picked up. Of course, the friendship with Hulk Hogan, the formation of the Mega Powers, and then of course that ended up with those two splitting, and a great feud between the two of them. A lot of build up to their match. And really, I think the build up for that feud started at WrestleMania 4, and then of course culminated at WrestleMania 5 with Hogan winning the title back, and the two continued to feud off and on through their years in WWF and WCW as well. But Savage will greatly be missed. I do believe that he is probably one of about 5, if not in the top 5, I would say even maybe the top 3 wrestlers from maybe of all time, but definitely of the 80s and 90s that had that crossover ability, that name recognition among people who were not wrestling fans. Hulk Hogan, of course, is one of them. Andre the Giant, another one. And Randy Savage, I think I would put in the top 3. I would also throw in perhaps Ric Flair, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin as guys who are recognized amongst non-wrestling fans. So definitely a sad day, and I posted a couple of blogs about this. One blog in particular I posted about Savage going into the Hall of Fame, and then my tribute blog last week to the Macho Man. I really do hope that this leads Vince McMahon to add Macho Man Randy Savage to the WWE Hall of Fame. It's long overdue. I know there's all kinds of rumors about what caused the two of them to have their falling out, and I don't know what's true and what's not true, but what I do know is that a lot of fans want this, and I think the Macho Man deserves it. And, he has certainly earned a place in the WWE Hall of Fame. So whether or not he's officially inducted in, I think in the fans and in the minds of a lot of the in the hearts and minds of a lot of fans, pardon me, he's already there. He's definitely deserving. And I would also argue that he would definitely be a first ballot pick for sure, the main event, if you will, for a Hall of Fame induction ceremony at WrestleMania 28 in Miami next year. I'll be there, so I hope that it does happen, and it would be an honor and a pleasure to see the Macho Man go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Macho Man, rest in peace. Oh yeah, dig it!